Good evening and welcome to a very special Anime-Zing radio here on our YouTube channel. This is a YouTube exclusive show. We are really excited tonight. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling.
Hello.
And, of course, Angela Rose is joining us as well.
Hello.
We have got a huge show. It has been way too long since the last time we talked with these amazing people. We are so proud and honored to welcome CEO Eric Sherman and casting director Mami Okada of Bang Zoom Entertainment. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's our pleasure.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
And it's like I said, it's been about 4 years since the last time that we had you on the show with us. A lot has changed, as you can tell. We've switched networks and everything. How, for our new listeners out there and our new viewers, tell everybody a little bit about Bang Zoom Studios and what you guys do.
Just briefly, we're basically a post-production studio. We also do some animation, and we do lots and lots of projects audio-wise, mainly anime, video games, animation, and things like that. And Mom, you can probably say some other things about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like so excited. I'm stumbling over words tonight. This happened last time. I think you guys
were excited too. We're excited too.
And a lot has changed in the world since the last time that you guys were on with us. And one of the questions that I was curious about was, how did the pandemic affect recording, and how has Bang Zoom adjusted to recording sessions? I know some other studios have remote recording and things of that nature. How has Bang Zoom rebounded with the world kind of getting back to normal?
I assume you want me to jump in, Mommy. I'm looking. If you haven't unmuted yourself, that means you want me to take it. Well, I'm going to mute myself going forward. Okay. We really just immediately took steps and did everything we could so that we wouldn't miss a beat as much as possible once the pandemic hit. It was, that day back in, when was it? March, when we all had to just, go home and kind of close the studio doors, and we were just, what are we gonna do now? And we just stepped up. We have some really smart people working with us, which we're very grateful for, and we were able to come up with systems pretty quickly to keep going. And all the voice actors that we worked with are just so amazing. They really stepped up and rose to the occasion, built their own home studios, and we went from there. Really, I think the biggest part of that whole thing, the toughest challenge, was just to get the quality up to the standards that we needed, because it's really different from being in a professionally built studio environment to being in a home built studio.
And Mami, did you have some challenges you had to overcome with the changes of home studios and stuff when it came to directing the shows and things?
Yeah, so I don't personally direct, but I work with directors and engineers, and definitely when pandemic happened, obviously we were in the middle of season of many shows, and we in fact had a couple shows that were going to Cartoon Network. So of course, all the networks and then everyone in the world basically was understanding that the production will be delayed. But that said, it had to keep going. So it took a lot of, just like Eric said, a lot of people come together. And then definitely every single actor, not only they have to deliver top-notch performance despite what's happening, they had to be also an engineer in a way as well. And they had to contribute part of their home as a workspace. And some of the actors we were working at the time already had a nice booth, some of them already working from home, but some who had been in the business for decades that they never had to do it from home. And now they were having to do everything from scratch, building, getting the gear to building the room space inside their own space. Some have children, some live with roommates. And literally we have to do that, or no one was working. Either that or they weren't getting income, and if they are not working, we are not working. So we just had to all come together and then overcome this. And then it's pretty amazing now that I look back 2 years ago that we were able to make it happen. And then we had some delays, but not that major. We were probably back and recording in a few weeks after the lockdown happened.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And hats off to everybody over at Bang Zoom, all the people who work behind the scenes. I know when it comes to a lot of these productions that you work on, the voice actors get a lot of the credit. The studio will be mentioned, but a lot of times the people behind the scenes, the producers, the directors, sound engineers, everybody who does this little things never really gets the acknowledgement that they deserve. And I like to make a point of thanking those people as well, because they work probably harder than the voice actors do in most cases to put these productions out there for our enjoyment.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true. There's the unsung heroes, people behind the scenes, and they do work really hard, very dedicated.
Yes, so definitely, our engineering team, they are not only like fantastic, using, the greatest gears out there. Like we do have a great studio, but at the same time, they came up with this little guideline for actors who's never done this before, so that they can build the most effective booth inside of their existing place without much of cost. So there are a lot of great equipment out there that doesn't cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have the selection that's good enough for our quality, and then without having to buy the nice standing booth, like there's so many ways that you can do to make your room sound great. So our engineers kind of built the guideline and then walked each actor step by step. And then they still do that. If we have a new actor now, they still connect to every single one to make sure their technical part is up to par before we can book them.
That's pretty remarkable that your staff is willing to go that far to help these voice actors, even the new people who come in. And lately, being an anime fan, watching so many shows with the simul-dub seasons, and every season you have probably 40, 50 new anime coming out, whether it's seasons 2, 3, 4, whatever, or new stuff. And we're seeing a lot of new faces in the anime world. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty remarkable to see the growth of voice acting, not just in the US, but I mean, in Japan, they're bringing up more voice actors. And I'm sure in other countries as well, with how, not just like American cartoons, but anime, video games, as, the industry keeps growing. It's great to see so many new faces out there. How do you determine who you want to have work on certain things? Is it something that the show director decides, or do you have a big part in that as well?
Aren't you going to talk about that, Mami? That's totally got your name on.
We do auditions, and then that's a big question. How do you work with those people? But so we do audition process, and then some shows, main characters, when we do auditions, the ultimate decisions will be made by our producers. So that would be the rights holders or the creators. But other than that, definitely we work with many vast pool of talent. They all come from different backgrounds. But one thing for sure they need to be able to do is ADR, which is the process that you have to perform to videos. So you have to match your performance to the lip flaps and what's happening on the video. So that's definitely required a skill. But other than that, it will be just, pure old acting performance. And then, yeah, that's it. I don't know if that answered your question.
Now, have either of you wanted to try voice acting yourself, or are you just happy being behind the scenes?
Well, I can't speak for Mami, but because I think Mami's a superstar, actually. But it's just fun. I like to direct. I like to produce, but it's really fun to get in the booth too and just belt out a line or fill in here and there. But it also it's great to do it for me to get on the other side of the glass, so to speak, so you can really get more of an appreciation for what voice actors do and how hard it is.
Definitely. And we have a comment in the chat room says that from HH saying, this has always been on my mind, but how does a studio production team determine which VA performance they want to go with for that project? That's probably a Mami question.
Yeah, so again, most of the shows we do auditions. So then, you will be giving audition materials and size, and then, okay, how do you get to audition? So that's a big question. But we have at Bang-Zoom, we have, again, pretty wide range of talent pool. So that's someone that over the many years we got to know together, or they submitted through our website or got referred by someone or through the classes. There are many ways that we got to know along the way. And then while I wish there was time to send the auditions to everyone and review everything, usually the auditions are very quick process. So maybe probably about 25 to 30 actors per role will send out the auditions. And from there, we narrow down to shortlist. And then ultimately, our producers will make a decision. So that's how they get on the show. But other than that, all the other minor roles, we will probably assigned from our pool, but that's all depends on what you can do and what kind of characters are in the show. So, what you have to do pretty much. Yeah.
Awesome. I hope that answered your question, HH. It's, I know a lot of people wonder what goes on behind the scenes, how people get chosen. I know some of the voice actors that we've had on the show here have talked about sometimes they feel like they get cast for specific roles. You may see one voice actor who does a lot of mother figures because that just happens to be their specialty, things of that nature. And I'm sure that helps to factor in how you choose for what role, depending on what the show is. Now, Eric, with Bang-Zoom, how did you come up? Now, if I remember correctly from when we talked before, you are the creator of Bang-Zoom Entertainment.
That's correct. Yep.
And how did you, for our new viewers out there, how did you come up with the idea and how did you start the studio?
Well, I think it's like a lot of things that happen in life is, stuff just sort of happens. You're going about your life, trying to figure things out, trying different things, pursuing a career, and one thing leads to another, and an opportunity presents itself. I always believe that when a window of opportunity opens, you should try to go through because it might close pretty quickly. It often does, I think. So it's just one of those those things that happened to me. I had I went to film school. I wanted to work in the industry. I knew that. And I lived in Japan for a while. When I came back to Los Angeles, a friend of mine had come after I was a couple years later, I guess. This friend of mine that I'd met in Tokyo said, "Oh, I'm in New York now, and we're starting up this new studio, this company called Media Blasters. And we're trying to figure out, we're getting some stuff done." And basically, this was just at the moment they were having a hard time dubbing a Japanese movie called Zero Woman. And I told them that I think I could figure out a way to do this, to dub this movie. And the reason why it was hard, I don't know if this is too technical, I can explain more, but they had no M&E tracks. It was never intended to be dubbed. It was just made for Japan. It was just going to live in Japan and die in Japan. But they wanted to now change the language to English. And there's no music and effects. So basically you cannot dub. So I took that though, and I did some stuff to it, performed some magic on it, cut holes in it, and filled them back up. And it ended up being a huge hit for them. And so then they asked me to do some more stuff. And then they said, hey, would you like to try some anime? That's all they, had to ask was, well, of course, yeah, let me at it. And one thing led to another. We got pretty busy doing Magic Knight Ray Earth, which was the first series we did. Had about 49 episodes, and while we were doing that, we got the opportunity to dub Kenshin, Rurouni Kenshin, which was about 96 episodes, and those were our first series that we did.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Just a great ride, and it was everything I had ever wanted to do. Working with anime, of course, was great. The thing about anime, because you're a fan, it's like it just sucks you in every time. You're like, no, I don't want to watch this one because I don't need another one. I got too much I'm watching. But you start watching, and then you're just sucked in. You can't stop watching, usually, And so working on stuff like that is just very fulfilling.
I see you're shaking your head, Angela. You know what that's like, getting sucked into an anime.
I think we all do.
Yeah, so I think it's really, well, to me, I love creating stuff. I love making stuff. So here is an opportunity when you're dubbing anime, you're able to take something that exists that's great and you love, and then do something with it yourself, remold it, reshape it. Yeah, and our whole thing, our big MO, and how Bang Zoom started was to be very, very faithful to the original creators in Japan. We wanted to create very faithful adaptations.
And I think that's a good thing to have. A lot of times you see shows where they try to change from the original, whether it's an anime adaptation of a manga where the show doesn't quite follow what the manga does. It kind of jumps around. An example of that was Rosario Vampire, which is why they only had 2 seasons, even though the manga continued well beyond with more characters than you'll ever see in the series. Or you have like a High School DxD where they got off track in season 3. A different studio picked it up in season 4 in Japan to get it back on track with the light novels.
I mean, another example would be Full Metal Alchemist, where the original had a completely different ending than the manga, and then they went back and made Brotherhood, which was far more faithful to the source material.
I don't know. Everybody has their opinion, but I kind of like when stuff like that happens because you're not expecting it, and then it can be a surprise, and then and fun in its own way. So it's not exactly the same as what you've read or you watched.
And I'll agree to that. A lot of anime-only titles are really good, or even anime-only events are good. Granted, they will make a community mad that they didn't follow the light novels or the manga. I can attest, as Doug said, DxD. But if I was looking at it from an anime-only perspective, it was actually good. But because I was biased, that I viewed it totally differently. So yes, it is fun to basically go in blind to a series and then hear, oh, no, this isn't how it actually is. You need to check out this, because it just gives you more incentive to dive into the series.
That's right. Exactly. Good point.
Now, what kind of animes do you enjoy watching when you have time?
Well, for me, anyway, somewhere along the line, and Bang Zoom was started in 1993, mind you. And we didn't really get into anime until think it was about 1998 or something, and in that realm. But still, it's a long time. So somewhere along the line, there became no more time to watch anything unless it was something that we were working on, you know. And the other thing that happened for me is I couldn't watch the dub anymore because I find myself like, you know, I put it on TV and start watching like, oh, that's Crispin or that's, you know, whoever. Like I just know these people and I picture their faces, I hear them talking, and I can't focus on the show anymore. So that was kind of a bummer for me. But you know, I'm kind of an old school guy, and I still love some of the like show like Samurai Champloo. I don't know if you remember that one, but it's one of my all-time favorites.
What about you, Mami? Do you find time to watch anime or have some shows that you enjoy or genres that you enjoy?
Yeah, so same as Eric. So I do enjoy watching anime, but nowadays it's we handle so many shows at once, and then as you know, I directly get involved in the story and all that. So I definitely have to watch what we are working on, obviously,
Yeah,
and then
a lot of stuff.
yeah, and then as soon as the episode becomes available, I must watch it so that I know as I have as much as time possible until we go into production. And then I also not only watch once, but I watch one show several times for many reasons and many stages. So it is a little hard to enjoy anime outside of what I'm already working on watching. But that said, I have watched like big titles that, you know, has nothing to do with my own work, but you know, I enjoyed watching things like obviously Attack on Titan or Tokyo Ghoul, things like that. So, you know, obviously people are already excited about it, and then but definitely it is getting harder and harder to watch anime outside of my own work. Yeah.
Actually, there's one show that I was watching, but it had nothing to do with what we're working on, and it was just because my son wanted to watch it with me. But it's like in Japanese, it's like Karakao Jozu. Wait.
Are you talking about Takagi?
Yeah, Teasing Master Takagi, right?
Yes. Oh, that one just ended season 3. Oh my gosh.
I haven't seen season 3, so no.
She was the start of the Smug Girls getting animated. First came Takagi, then came Uzaki, then came Nagatoro, and then after those 3, they set the stage for Komi to come on.
Yeah, Komi's another one I've been watching, and Nagatoro I watched also. I watched it, and then I watched it in Japanese with subs, and then we got the job for that. So that was fun.
Bye.
Now, for our viewers out there who may not know of the anime titles that you've worked on, what are some of the bigger titles that Bang Zoom has had a hand in?
I'll let you take it, Mami, because
yeah. So definitely Demon Slayer is one. We are working on actually right now on the Entertainment District arc. So we've been having really fun working on it for past couple of years. Season 1 was pre-pandemic, so it's been a few years. Other than that, we worked on One Punch Man, Sword Art Online franchise. We did all of them. And then we also did almost all of Fate, Stay Night Fate Grand Order anime series. Other than that, there's so many. But yes.
You mentioned JoJo's. Was that what you said?
Yes, JoJo. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from season 1. We're currently working on the latest season. It's actually part 6, but it's season 5. Yeah.
Which makes no sense.
Did y'all have a role in Stardust Crusaders?
Yes, we did the English dub for Stardust Crusaders.
Because it's kind of weird. So because of my friend talking about JoJo, I ended up jumping into JoJo in part 3 by accident.
Okay, well, that's a good part to start. Yeah, so well, there are many, but yeah,
I think
those are-
ReZero you had a hand in as well. What?
Yes, ReZero for sure. We did season 1 and 2, as well as video game for that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What else we have done?
Like you said, you've had a hand in so many big shows out there, and you know a lot of mainstream stuff. I know a huge following for Demon Slayer. My wife is a diehard Demon Slayer fan. She was excited when she was. She follows some of the voice actors on TikTok, and I think Brandon Aaron's announced that he was cast as like one of her favorite characters, so she got excited about that. So I had to just message her, letting her, or Brandon McInnes. I'm sorry,
I
Brandon
was about
Aaron's.
to say,
God, Brandon
Brandon,
Aaron's.
you
That was
never
my
had.
first ever co-host 8 years ago.
Yeah, I think his role just got announced, I believe. Yeah.
And so she was really excited. She let me know that today that she had found that. So
Oh, Cells at Work.
Yes, so
Yeah,
that
Cells at
work.
Work.
That was a very educational show.
Yeah, actually, I was telling people how when the pandemic happened, a lot of things that I heard, I actually heard it first in social work. So I would imagine like, okay, that's what's happening to the body now. That's how the vaccines work. So yeah.
I was about to say, Cells at Work season 2 went into detail for the vaccine for one episode.
Yes.
And then also you had Cells at Work Black,
Yes.
the one where they were in the unhealthy body, and now I think they're trying to come out with another Cells at Work that's in a different kind of body. I don't know if it's a younger body or an older body, because the first one was immunocompromised, the second one was unhealthy in all aspects, and the third one, I don't remember what type of body they were talking about. That one.
Yeah, I think there are many comic books. Manga has many versions. So yeah, hopefully it will continue. But yeah, we have actually a doctor. So before we finalize all the English dub and then send it out there in the world, we have a doctor who's actually reviewing to make sure we got pronunciation correct. And then because some of the method that they treat patients in Japan and here is different. So we want to make sure that's conveyed correctly. So yeah, we go through that process as well.
That's one thing I've always been impressed about a lot of these animes is they try to be as accurate with information as possible, whether it sells at work, something like New Game, which taught us how video games are created in anime form.
Food Wars.
Food Wars, even Strike Witches, everything was time accurate to the time frame. All the paint schemes on the striker units, the weapons were all accurate, and even the characters were named after fighter pilots from that time frame. So it's always amazed me and impressed me at how well that they've done their research when putting together these these mangas, light novels, and even the animes, the original series and stuff.
I think that's a testament to the people who create and make anime in Japan. I think they really do care so much, and I think most of them are really really bright and kind of nerdy, so they just get into the facts, into the with that.
Well, you heard the story behind Pokemon, right?
What's the story behind Pokemon?
Basically, one of the Facebook pages that tends to pop up, Did You Know Gaming, has a lot of episodes. Pokemon was originally created by this guy, Satoshi Tajiri, and growing up, he spent a lot of his time skipping school and in the arcade instead of in school. And then he based Pokemon off of the bugs he found in his backyard, and then just all kinds of stuff with Ken Sugimori and the development of Pokemon, coming up with the designs for these creatures, and they do their research to make these creatures look either as real or as
Believable.
yes, because if you actually watch some of the things where they pulled some of the proto versions that were still embedded in the Game Boy cartridges, it was amazing to see some of the designs. I mean, the original design for Mew, they said, looked more like a fetus.
Wow.
And that had to be changed before it was brought over here. And it wasn't actually Ken Sugimori or any of them that gave Mew its appearance. It was a lady that worked on the first movie that gave Mew its 3D appearance.
Interesting.
Darren is our resident Pokemon expert.
The missed the Pokemon special.
Yeah, we did a Pokemon special, and he was sick and missed it. It was like, all right. So Angela and I, who I know more Pokemon stuff than Angela does, and neither of us, the two of us combined, don't even come close half of Darren's knowledge. So it was interesting.
Well, you made it through somehow.
We did, and we digressed into other tangentially related things, and then we proceeded to give Darren a lot of shit for that.
You have to.
But
now, having started the company, you said, was it 93? Did you ever think that you would be where you are today, having so many productions going on at one time, being a part of so many hugely successful shows and projects?
Well, I did. I never. Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And when I first started Bang Zoom out of my little studio apartment in Glendale, I had no idea where things were going. I was taking any job I could get, and in fact, I was working for some company. One of my first clients was just producing karaoke videos, actually, and we would cast it and go out and shoot them, and then they would I think they were putting them still on Laserdisc at the time or something. I don't know what they were using them for, but that was one of the first things. And then I helped coordinate a Japanese feature film shoot where it's about this Yakuza guy in Osaka who this head guy who has to come to LA to find this guy who ran away with the money, and he's going all over Los Angeles looking for him. And so I did all of the LA coordination, and they brought the whole crew over. I had to put them all up, and that was a big job for me. I just did anything that I could get back then. But I always saw it as something that could be bigger, I definitely did. And even when I was just kind of like me by myself, I tried to give the clients service, top-notch professional service. And as soon as I could, brought in more people. And we just started expanding. Mami came and joined fairly early on, one of the first, in fact, was the very first intern that ever worked at Bang Zoom Studios, Mami. And she ended up working out and was here ever since, and now really just runs the whole studio. She's like the top dog.
Yeah, I think I came and joined Bang Zoom when you were toward the end of Kenshin series. I think episode like 85 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I joined, and so
we didn't have our own brick and mortar studios yet. We were renting.
No, not yet. Yeah. So now we have a studio, 3 buildings in Burbank, California. But yeah, we didn't have any studio that we could call our home. And then we'll just go around town, different recording studio. This week, we're going to record this show from this studio. And then I will be calling and scheduling talent from the studio's lobby. Yeah, so I was calling like a Steve Bloom or Wendy Lee. Yeah, but yeah, those are the times.
That's right. That's right.
What got you interested in joining Bang Zoom, Mami?
Yeah, so I grew up in Japan and I came to the States to study English and filmmaking, so film and video. Of course, this was a long time ago. So, right now, like everybody's doing their own content, but it was not like that back then. So if you wanted to get into film and video production, in Japan, it was almost impossible. Like you had to know someone or you'd be willing to work for free for like, long time. So I wanted to study production and then English at the same time. So you know what? Coming to LA is the best thing. So when I met Eric, I only went to college for 2-year film community college. And as soon as I graduated, I was interning at a company and I met Eric there. So I was just looking for any experience in entertainment industry. And then I actually I haven't watched any anime. So it's one of those things that...
Wait, you hadn't watched any anime yet?
No, so I
I
wasn't into anime.
You were working for Tokyo Pop, but you didn't watch anime?
So Tokyo Pop, yes, so I was working at a company called Tokyo Pop when I met Eric, but they were doing everything pop culture about Japan. So we were doing comics, music, I think they were just getting into anime when I met Eric, but I was watching like wrestling videos from Tokyo. So that was my previous work before Bang Zoom. Yeah. But during college, people come up to me and say like, well, you are from Japan, so you must like watch anime, and which anime do you like? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't watched anime. So that's when I realized like, oh my God, anime, like living in Japan, you don't really realize how it's popular outside of Japan. So that's when you started to realize, well, anime is a thing. So when I joined Bang Zoom, I was looking to do anything for entertainment and learn. But also I found this anime dubbing process very similar to film. Casting, auditions, and then we have a recording, so production, and we have a post-production, then we go into editing and mixing, so audio post. Right. So the process is very similar to that very quickly. And also be able to use Japanese and English skills. So that's how I kind of going. So I was not casting or anything. I was more running everything from talking to clients to getting assets in, scheduling everyone, even coordinating subtitles or DVD Blu-ray production, to delivering, everything. So that was my beginning before getting into creative side.
And it must, like, when you look back at the ride, I call it the wild ride that we've had to get to where we are now. I do that. Actually, this Sunday is our 8-year anniversary show. So
nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I look back and go, I've been doing this for 8 years. Is there times when you just look back and reflect on, this is where we started, this is where we're at now? It's kind of an amazing experience to get to where you are.
Oh, definitely. Although for me, being really honest, I don't see it as much. People point it out to me. I just look at where I want to be or what we could still do. The things that where I see us going, and we're not there yet. So I'm never satisfied. But I had a friend of mine visit from high school, who came to my office from New York, and she sat in my office and we were talking, and I think I was saying something about, I haven't, really done anything yet or something like that, and she's like, what are you talking about? Look at your studio. Look what you have. Look what you've built. And it kind of, took me, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. All right. Well, seeing it from your eyes, I guess that is kind of cool. But yeah, I'm never satisfied.
I guess that's a good way to get to, the success that you want to be is don't be satisfied with what you have, always strive for more.
True. But I think the key is I strive also for, being really grateful and being happy where you are in the moment. I mean, that's what I try to do every day. I really do. And this is really getting out there, but I believe that, and we can totally go back into your subject right now, but I believe that happiness is found from within, but I think we're all looking for how to get happy from external things, but it's right here all the time, anytime. So I'm always balancing that back and forth with, I'm never satisfied and yet I'm happy.
I think that's something we all need, is to figure out how to be happy inside, but still want to find more ways of, for me, doing this show is one thing that makes me really happy, because I'm able to bring people on and showcase cosplayers that a lot of people have probably never heard of because they're local New England area cosplayers or artists, comic creators. We bring voice actors on. Those are some of our biggest shows. But I always want to showcase a small convention, or the people who work just as hard that don't get much recognition because either A, they're going to a convention in Vermont, or a small hole in the wall in the Carolinas that nobody's ever heard of, and they don't have the chance to go to a San Diego Comic-Con, Anime NYC, Anime Boston, where there's a lot of hugely talented creators and cosplayers and stuff. So we like to find these people and showcase them on the show.
That's great. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah.
And we
I think that's this is the one thing that that you so anybody can, if you where there's a will, there's a way, and if you really have your mind set, and if as long as you keep doing the work, if you're disciplined and you do show after show after show, you can do anything.
Oh yeah. And we've been very blessed to have had so many amazing guests on. Of course, this is your second time on the show with us, which I was honored when I reached out that you guys wanted to come back on, because I really enjoy a lot of the products that you guys have put out. And everybody knows Funimation. Everybody's heard of Sentai Filmworks and things, Crunchyroll, some of these bigger companies out there in the anime world. But Bang Zoom works really hard on a lot of top-notch products, but nobody ever really hears of you guys because you're kind of tucked away. You do a lot of the work, but they get the credit.
Well, it's sort of just how things work, It's okay. We're really, we love the clients that we get to work with, and they're out there. They're taking the hugest risks by, they have to license the titles, and they hope that people will like them. And this is a huge infrastructure to create the networks and the distribution networks and the streaming platforms that they have. We're sort of like, we are definitely like the little guy, I guess you could say.
I can vouch for that because I used to be in the social media side for Funimation for a little while. Long story short, Facebook used to have groups of people that would run their own anime pages, and then when Crunchyroll and Funimation and all the companies started getting involved, they started trying to side with somebody because everyone was getting DMCA takedowns. So they kind of wanted to pick a side and roll with it, and the people I was with happened to pick Funimation, so I was with Funimation's social media team officially, unofficially, for right around a year. So
Now-
it was, and listening to my boss, or the person that ran the group that partnered with Funimation, listening to him talk about how they would always target their budgets toward shows that they thought would grab our audience's attention. It was always just interesting listening to how much they would put into it in order to nab the rights for that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not for the faint of heart.
Now, when it comes to doing some of the recording, and we have a lot of voice actors who record for both anime, video games, things of that nature. Is there a big difference between if you're recording for a video game as you would be for anime or a cartoon?
Definitely. You want to talk? Yeah, good.
So difference in terms of like a performance or
kind of the setup, or like I know with a lot of animes, Funimation has the 3 beeps before they try to match mouth flaps and things of that nature. Sometimes in video games you don't have to match flaps as often or things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious about the differences between recording for both.
Yeah, so when you talk about technical point, definitely anime is a lot technical. So video game is sometimes there's video for you to watch a reference, but often you are on your own, like you are doing recording voices, and then very rarely that you need to match. Once in a while you need to act the 2 cutscenes. Or videos, but most of the majority of the work is you just record the voices versus anime dubbing or any type of localization. You have to have a video, so that's your definitely that you need that. So like earlier when we talked about setup, it becomes a little bit tricky because you have to have your video that you can watch video. I guess so. Studio will stream the video so that you have to be able to watch that in a secondary, either tablet or laptop or monitor to look at the script. So you kind of have to have a 2 monitor setup. And then you also have to have a very, very good internet connection because as you know, streaming video and you're trying to match to that video, you have to have a stable connection. So technically, actor will need to prepare a lot more to do ADR work, so dubbing or anime work. While video game often, as long as you are able to record your voice,
Okay. Got a little bit choppy there.
Sorry.
But I think we caught most of what you were saying.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi at this time, so.
And Eric, you're muted, so I don't know if you were talking.
Yes, I was. I was criticizing Mommy's Wi-Fi.
Oh my god.
Your Wi-Fi
Am I
has
that slow? Okay.
lately, right?
Yeah. I can hear you guys well.
Oh, every once in a while, yeah, you freeze up.
Oh, sorry
That's
about
okay.
that.
No,
That's the beauty of like live video now. And now I want to switch gears to convention side of things because I know that you have tried to make Bang Zoom more known at some of the larger conventions. Are we going to see your presence at Anime Boston this year, especially as shows are starting to come back after the pandemic?
so far we don't. We've been invited to some shows, but we've played it really safe during the whole pandemic. Just we were lucky not to have. Well, I can't. We almost made it through without anyone of our whole staff getting COVID, but ended up. I think I don't know. There might have been some some probably like during travel times and things like that. But we're really careful. So we're so far not going to conventions. We are going. We're going to be at WonderCon this coming weekend. Mami and I, and we're going to do a small panel there. But we don't have any other plans right now this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bring up Anime Boston because that's a big one for us. We make it out there just about every year. And I know that we had, I think it was 2017 or early 2018 was when you had a table set up. I think Eric Vale was one of the guests that was there, part of with the Bang Zoom table. And that's what really like drew me to you guys, being like, we've had Eric on the show a couple of times and we know him because of that, and you're working with him. It's like, I need to take Bang Zoom more serious and find out more about you guys, which is one of the reasons that I reached out to you in the first place, because I didn't know a whole lot about Bang Zoom Studios and I wanted to learn more. I'm one of those people, I like to learn a little bit about a lot and a lot about nothing.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you. Thanks for reaching out to us. Really appreciate it. We do love those shows like Boston and Chicago, ASN and Chicago, and all the shows. They're all really. There's just such great people. Like, it's mind blowing to me just the way the attendees are so enthusiastic, and they're just, I don't know. I guess anime attracts a lot of really decent, good people, or at least that's what it seems to me. They're very warm, and I've had so much great experiences meeting people at shows.
Now, working on these shows and stuff, have you ever wanted to cosplay as some of these characters?
Mami does. Mami cosplays.
Oh no, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I wouldn't even. I would say I wouldn't even use the word cosplay. I had the opportunity to dress up as one of the characters that we worked on, but I know the true cosplayer, like, they make everything. Like, it's so talented. They look at it. They make their weapons, the outfit. I can't do any of that. So, but it was a very fun experience. We love, going to convention because we get to see how every day we put in our work and efforts, and you get to see how people actually enjoying the show that we work on. And that could be, voice acting or singing or cosplaying or art, so any form. And then it brings like really great joy to recognize, like, oh my God, I know that character. Whatever it is, down in artist alley, or you see people dressed up. So we really love that aspect because it's very rewarding to us, although they might not watch English stuff, but we don't, just to see that, our work, our clients' work, getting appreciated. So yeah.
I will speak from actual experience. Not all cosplayers do make everything from scratch. There are those that do, and they're amazing. But there are some who, like myself, do not have that level of talent and will basically buy stuff off of the internet and then fix it to make it what it should be.
Yeah.
Well, that's good too. Yeah. I was going to say, I'm just too lazy to cosplay.
I can't make anything, but for Anime Boston, I am cross-playing this year as Miss Kobayashi from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Nice.
So it's like I'm buying all the stuff, and it's a simple outfit to put together. I already have the wig and shirt. I think the other thing I'm missing is the tie, the pants, and the glasses. I've got everything else.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I mean, anime that's like really the greatest part of anime. It's nothing like any other, genre. Like, it's completely interactive and immersive. Like, you can do anything. Like, you can enjoy music. I know a lot of people who can even sing in Japanese, and it's crazy to me. They can karaoke and dance, and draw and everything. So any talent, anything that you are interested in, like you can participate in the form of anime. So that's, I think it's really unique about any media out there, I think.
And go ahead, Age.
I was just going to point out the question from the audience. Okay, the next one.
There's two of them there.
Yeah.
From Mario. Mario is asking, I've got a question. What's it been like adapting to recording at home for Bang Zoom compared to other companies?
I don't know if we can really speak to the other companies because we don't really know what other people do. We kind of always create our own. We do our own thing, you know. But I think I would imagine there's similarities to, and we discussed it in the beginning of the of this.
Yeah.
So I think you know, not to rehash that, but you know, we do work with actors on a remote basis, and we're still doing quite a lot of that right now.
Yeah, one thing I would say maybe different from other companies. Again, I can't speak which company or what studio or anything, but as we've been discussing, like, you know, we really try to bring the best quality as possible to the audience. And then right now, you know, we are relying on actors' home setup for remote recording. But our engineers, they are still in our studio, and they're working alone, because director and actors are remote location. But our engineers do have a very high standard, and that's how we try to pull out. So often actors will say, or our engineers say, you know, we are hearing some noise, or, you know, we are having some issues. And then the actors will say, well, I've been recording it this way, and no one said anything. But that happens a lot. But, you know, we don't want to let go of quality whenever we can achieve by just making small adjustments. So definitely the technical part we do, we're probably one of the most strict one in town. That's how I think that's how I've been hearing.
But that's a good thing, because that's why you're able to turn out such quality, amazing shows, you know, like Demon Slayer and ReZero and everything that you've had success with, is by having those strict standards. So, you know, and it comes back to what we said earlier about thank you to all the engineers and the people behind the scenes who have such high standards and want to put out, you know, they take pride in their work and want to put out the best quality product that they can, so that the fans can enjoy the best that, you know, Bang Zoom and the people have to offer.
Thank you. Yeah. I was I know we're really, you know, obviously we're focusing so much on dubs, just because dubs there's so complicated, and there's so many layers to them. Subtitles are much simpler. It can just be like one person pretty much doing the subtitling, or maybe two, like a translation and then someone who creates the subtitles. I think that you know, the great art in subtitles really belongs to the fan. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but like fan subbers, you know, the ones who do it for love. They put so much time and effort into the subtitles, and different colors and different positions. And it almost becomes overwhelming sometimes, you know, everything on screen. Subtitles can be really an art form too. Just saying that, you know, but yeah, anyway.
I was about to say I can vouch for the fan subbers, because back in the day, waiting for the episodes to come out and waiting for your favorite fan subs to release. Some people wouldn't watch shows unless they were dubbed by a certain fan sub group, or certain fan sub groups had better subtitles.
Yeah, sure.
And then, of course, like you said, some go into detail. Like, a lot of times there'll be like a line of text on the screen, and then there'll be like a menu or something. And some of them will actually go through the trouble of translating everything in the background. Or they'll put a little translator's note. XYZ is a tradition here. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
It kind of like it kind of personalized a lot of the shows and made it a lot more easy to understand and fun. I know that's getting a little off topic and kind of taking away from what y'all do to an extent, but since that hasn't been mentioned in quite a long time, I thought I'd at least agree with you on that.
Well, thank you. No, I have always appreciated the work that goes into them, and I think back in the day when you're waiting for stuff to come out, it took forever. There was of course people were gonna grab the stuff and subtitle it and get it out there for people to enjoy. Now things are just so much sped up so much. So that's probably not necessary. And then they go to great efforts, and we go to great efforts to do as close to like simul dubs as we can. Just like coming out at the same time as Japan or very, very soon after it came out, so people don't have to wait.
I remember there was one episode of Pokemon back about 8-9 years ago, I'd say, and I was waiting for the English subtitles to drop, and I got so impatient I went and watched the Spanish subtitle version since I know Spanish, and took my hybrid of Spanish and Japanese and basically figured out, I'd say 90% of what they were talking about.
That's fun too, right? I've gone through, I read a whole, I've read manga, like whole series of manga in Japanese with a kanji dictionary, and underlining and figuring out exactly what the kanji means.
My friend, he learned Japanese through playing visual novels. He had that hiragana translator, and then as he played it, he got familiar with it, and then, of course, learned it in the process, and would occasionally come across kanji or katakana and have to kind of look it up, but for the most part, he knew how to read it at that point. That's
great. That was my introduction too. When I lived in Japan, I thought I just wanted to pick up Japanese while I was there, so I started with learning hiragana and then katakana, and I think that's really great because it gives you a better understanding of Japanese, just the true pronunciation, and that's a good basis from where to start.
A lot of times in the shows when they make jokes with words, and it's like, okay, you don't get it because we don't read kanji or we don't read the Japanese language, and once they explain it out, like with the little translator notes, they're like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I was always wondering, and I feel like I have to say this, but Angela Rose, are you like in a place that's cold because you're bundled up in a blanket?
I am in Boston. It is freezing.
Oh, it's freezing. Yeah. Well, how cold is it out there?
It's
I'm curious as to how cold it is there, and then I'll say what the temperature is here.
And then I'll say what it is here.
Well, you're in Boston. You're in North Carolina, Darren, right?
Well, okay. According to my phone, it is currently 33 degrees. Feels like 24. And an old
is cold.
and a very old building.
Now I feel
with
bad.
Oil heat.
I'm always bundled up in blanket when it's like 50s.
That sounds like sounds like conversations I have with my mother. My mother moved to Florida.
Yeah.
And she'll call me up, tell me it's cold, and I just laugh at her. Because cold for her is 60.
Yes.
Right.
When my dad's family was up last month, they were like, it's cold. And we're just like, this is normal.
For me up here in northern New York, to give people an idea of just how far in northern New York I am less than 45 minutes from the Canadian border.
Okay.
And yet you don't have a passport.
And we currently have a temperature of 28 degrees, feels like 19, and it snowed today.
Wow.
What? Really? It snowed today?
Yeah.
Wow.
I sent Darren the picture.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, here in Willow Spring, North Carolina, it is 47 degrees.
Okay.
Feels like 47.
And Drew Lily in the chat says it's 34 degrees in New York City.
Wow.
New York City. It's cold right now on the East Coast. Wow. So we should really be grateful for the mid 60s that we're in here in LA. But I was thinking it's a little chilly today.
Well, yes, yesterday, in California, we don't get rain, and it rained yesterday. So now for us, it's cold, which is, mid 60s. I think it's going to be 80s next week.
About to say, what are y'all's highs over there in terms of heat? Like, what do y'all get during the summer?
Oh, it can get hot.
Yeah,
I mean, it
like
can be
95 maybe.
Yeah, but the heat waves, like it'll be like 120 degrees out.
I was gonna on the where you are. Do you get the humidity, or is it all a dry heat?
It's dry. It's dry.
Because I've spent time in Las Vegas in August.
Yeah.
And it gets after a certain point, you don't notice how hot it is, other than, oh my God, I want to die. But
it's like a sauna. Like you step outside of the hotel or casino in Las Vegas, and it's like, whoa, I'm getting cooked.
Here on the East Coast, you get it'll cap. More often than not, it'll cap out in somewhere in the 90s, but the humidity makes it feel almost as bad as like the 100 plus.
Yes, and I can vouch for Florida when I go down there, but being in North Carolina, we literally have all 4 seasons in the course of a day. Forget in a week. Basically in North Carolina, if you want to wait for the weather to change, just wait 5 minutes. It'll change. But generally during the summer here, with it's averages in the upper 80s to low to mid 90s, and then with the heat index, it's generally in the low 100s, sometimes in the 110s. And being a landscaper, it's fun.
Wow.
And jumping back into questions from the chat room, HH was asking, do you guys have any recommendations for how to follow your most current updates and projects, support your work, or what type of projects you want to promote?
You mean like our Instagram would be
I think it's a way of keeping up with what Bang Zoom is producing and how to, support Bang Zoom.
Yeah, I think we have a constant updates on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I believe.
Yeah, those 3.
Yeah, and I think it's all at Bang Zoom. One word, yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, that's the best way to stay in touch with us. We try to be really responsive also if there's anybody who contacts us. And we do have a website, bangzoomstudios.com, and you can write to us through that too. But I'm not encouraging you to. I'm just saying if you did want to get in touch, or sometimes people have legitimate questions or something to share with us, and we welcome it. But we try to get back to everybody as soon as we can.
And we've had so much fun chatting with you guys tonight. Again, I thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us tonight. Really, we love a lot of the work that you produce, and like I mentioned earlier, I don't think a lot of people know Bang Zoom Studios because you work with other companies, so the other companies get a lot of the credit for what you guys do. I can say from people that I've talked to, when I tell promoting the show, things like that, Mami, you are very well known in the anime world.
Oh wow!
I had so many people go, "Oh my God, you're talking to Mami Okada?" Like they know your name because of working on these shows. So you're pretty famous out there if you don't know that already.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. But I think the part of it is, we've always worked with, fresh talent like voices, and that's been one of our things for a long time that, we associate with the class, and then we encourage aspiring voice actors to pursue their dreams. So a lot of anime voice actors, video game voice actors who kind of started at Bang Zooms, and then now they are doing amazing work out there. They have so many fans. So I think thanks to them mentioning Bang Zoom, I think maybe that's why a lot of people may heard of my name or Bang Zoom. But yeah, we still continue to encourage aspiring voice actors, and we love meeting new actors as well.
And that's one thing that we've always enjoyed with the radio show here is, I want to say, probably around 15 different voice actors that we've had on the show. We were their first official radio interview.
Nice.
I love finding up and coming talent, and people like Brianna Roberts. We were her first interview. I think Stephen Fu. Kaylee Mills, we interviewed her before she really got into the voice acting world. We knew her more for her YouTube singing. Megan Shipman, Morgan Berry, a couple others that, when first time we had a lot of them on, they had less than 5 named roles. And now a lot of them are in triple digits and get casting for major characters and things like that. So I've always loved to find these fresh faces out there and watch how their career grows, because it's like you support them early on, you become a fan of theirs from something that they probably don't even think twice about, and as their career continues to grow, it almost a sense of pride of being like, I was with them when they were still learning the craft, and now look how successful they are and loved by so many people. Yeah. Is that something you guys feel as well when you see fresh talent come in out of a voice acting school or something like that, and then a few years later they're a part of some of these huge shows?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we want any actors or voice actors to be successful for sure. But there are a lot of young talent who hasn't gotten their break, but they work hard, and then they're talented. So we like to encourage them, because often they, or producers or other studios, they want to know, okay, what else they've done, or what shows are they in, like that. They care about things like that. So we want to try to focus on the current, the auditions are good. They have skills they've learned, they know what we are doing professionally. So things like that, we like to focus rather than what else have they done, or how long they've been doing things like that.
Yeah. I think that's an important thing too, is, and it's a great thing that you guys do to bring in these people. It's like, we don't care about your work history. What can you provide for us for what we're looking for this character or this show? And I think that's an awesome thing to look at. Like you said, there are some studios out there, some directors who are looking for something specific. So it's like, I know you can do this because you've done it for 20 other characters. You're going to be cast as this. And yeah, I've heard the stories from different voice actors and stuff that it's happened to. And, giving so many new people a chance to get their feet wet in video games, anime, get their voices heard, to give them the opportunity to become part of other, studios or continue their career is just phenomenal. So hats off to you guys for continuing to find the fresh talent.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that's really, really important to us, and it always has been. And I also, I think Mami and I both feel the same. We really like it when an actor says, thank you for casting me in this role. All the other studios cast me as like I only get to play this type, but you guys bring me in for all these other things that really challenge me, and it's something I don't normally do. And I think that's always been part of. It's just fun for us.
Yeah, and then of course, when I meet new actors, and I also do some coaching, and then I get a lot of questions. But as a casting person, so I guess what's unique in Bang Zoom is a lot of voice directors, they cast their own actors, so that happens a lot. So they do voice directing, but they cast their own show. So they tend to bring actors who they like to work or they have worked with before, because it's completely understandable. Voice directors spend hours and hours with that person and then get to very emotionally vulnerable place. They have to be able to pull that performance out of the actor. So it's a huge, relationship. So I totally understand that voice director wants to work with someone, at least, they have worked with, or they know them, or they know they can do that kind of thing. But Bang Zoom, so I cast only, and I don't voice direct. So I'm basically recommending actors to voice directors that we work with. So we have this, I think we are able to build this relationship. The voice directors trust who I bring. Sometimes they don't know who they are. They see their name on the cast list, and that's the first time they've ever hear about the actor. And they don't know. They have no idea, but they trust, okay, if Mami says this person can do this voice, then let's just go for it. And then I think over and over, we were able to build that relationship. So the directors are more open to work with someone who has no idea, who's never even heard of that actor before. But then once they work together, okay, now I know why Mami selected this actor for this show. So we are able to kind of build that relationship, because I totally understand without that, it's very hard to get to that emotionally vulnerable, intense place with someone who's never met, before or worked together.
And a comment in the chat from Julili says, I find that to be super reassuring too. I don't voice act much, but I do sing in English and Japanese.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And she is a talented singer. I have seen her perform at Katsukan many years ago. They had a idol competition, and she ended up winning that competition, singing and dancing. So
wow, that's great.
So she's very talented. We actually had her as a guest on the show a few weeks ago. So thank you to everybody who's tuning into the show tonight. I see a lot of activity in the chat room, and I love seeing that. So thank you to everybody tuning in. Want to remind everybody, Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by HomecircleMedia.com for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out HomecircleMedia.com today, or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox for all of your cosplay, artwork, and photography needs. Be sure to check out Casey Fox, that's KAYCIFOXX, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Forgot to mention our sponsors at the top of the show, so I want to make sure plug the people who support us.
Absolutely.
And we're also brought to you tonight by Darren.
If you're in the Raleigh-Durham area and need lawn care done, find me at facebook.com/SSS Lawns.
And Darren, the man of many hats, owns his own landscaping company and works fast food. So
and used to do social media.
No more social media for you. You do it now.
Ever since the official companies took over, it's kind of hard. Unfortunately, the guy I was doing this stuff with no longer really works with them. Basically, they kind of cut everybody off.
I see.
And it was really hard for him because he lives in the Middle East area. So kind of hard to employ somebody that's overseas like that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And we've touched on a lot of different subjects tonight. Everything from casting, how you choose the actors. What are some of the goals that you want to see Bang Zoom achieve in the future? What's some of the stuff that you're aiming for right now?
Yeah, really. It's how, I mean, we're always talking about improving quality, or maintaining our standard of quality. To be able to meet the really intense challenge of getting stuff out quicker and quicker. Like having less time to be able to work with it in the studio because we need to turn it around and get it out there before it's going to start being pirated. I guess that becomes more of a challenge for us to keep the quality high. So that's one of the things we're really working on. And for us too, we like to find new talent, not just voice actors, but also engineers, like recording engineers, editors, mixers, and we have goals to meet more people, find more people that can fit in with our studio. Mami touched upon this, but we're sort of we have high standards, and so a lot of people, like, we've had engineers come in and say, I had so much experience and this is a slam dunk, and then they end up saying, I can't work here with you guys because I'm not used to working this hard.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that again. That's a testament to the quality products that you put out because the standards are so high, and I think that's one thing that people need to know. Bang Zoom, you take pride in the product you put out there, the shows, the games, the stuff that you work on. That's why you're so successful, is because you take pride in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, especially, of course, we care about every single project, that's for sure. But I think, we been so well known in anime because it's actually very rare that bilingual staff is working in anime field. So, I myself bilingual, and then we have more staff whose core members, they are bilingual in Japanese. And I don't want, when I watch something in Japanese, I want English speaking audience to experience exactly what I experienced.
Yeah.
And then I know why this show was popular in Japan, because of this quality. And I don't want to lose that in English, because before, I didn't speak English when I was living in Japan. So I would watch Japanese subtitled Hollywood movie. And then later I found that it's like totally like rewritten and things like that. So I want to make sure that we, any language, English or Japanese, or, we handle other languages as well, as a bilingual person, and we have a bilingual staff, and we care and then take pride to deliver faithful and then original quality as much as possible. So that's always in our mind, I think. So yeah, the challenge, and then maybe the goal, like you mentioned, is, industry is very, very fast paced, more than ever. Everything comes out so quick, and the audience are very used to moving on because there are so many contents out there. I'm sure you have like 10 things that you want to watch next. So we want to keep up, and we have to keep up with it, but without sacrificing the quality. So that's the really challenge going forward, because we want to be able to work on as many shows as possible, but we can't do it, or we don't want to do it if that means it's gonna sacrifice the quality. So that's kind of our goal, to find a balance and figure out the most efficient way and still keep the quality.
Absolutely. I to that, and I kind of I remember something that I was thinking maybe I'll talk about, and that is, when we got our start, it became apparent that it was very important to us that we create something that could really immerse the viewer in it, just so that they would lose themselves completely and never be conscious of the fact that they're watching something that was dubbed. That they just forget that was originally in Japanese. Like they could almost imagine themselves as watching Japanese right now, but it's in English, so they understand it. And so that was the goal. And we wanted to do stuff that was like way higher standards than what even our clients were asking of us. We wanted it to compete with anything Warner Brothers could do or any major Hollywood studio. So that was the bar that we set. And I do think, without trying to, I do not want to sound cocky or anything, but we really did help to change the anime industry. I think back, I'm talking 20 years ago. So we really did change it on a new course, I think, and for that I think we are proud. And now it's just like, how do we take it to the next level, along with getting it done really fast, much faster. And just to give you an idea, so we used to have like 8 weeks, before we'd have to deliver some episodes. Now what do we get? Like a couple weeks?
Yeah, probably 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. So it's less than half the time we used to have.
And I know there's one title, she professed herself pupil to the wise man, that up until I think about week 7, they were dropping the English dub at the same time as the Japanese episode was being dropped. I don't know if you guys were working on that or not, but that's a show I've been watching in both Japanese and in English.
We didn't work on that title.
No, but yeah, definitely. I can see how it's a lot of work on the production end, and it does take time. When you are doing English dub, obviously in the simulcast, like subtitle, that's a lot of work too. But it's definitely faster than doing the whole dubbing process. So I know that Japan team will have to collaborate because they will need to send the materials before they even release it in Japan. So if I look back, that's like almost impossible. It's like completely NDA. They cannot go outside of their office until the air. So I think the Japanese production companies are also changing to be able to share things earlier so that we can start translating, we can start the script casting process done before even Japan's done. So yes, things are definitely changing. And I think more and more the trend is to go global simultaneous, I think. So we get to all see one show in different language at the same time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
Oh no, I was just worried that there's piano being played at my house and someone's playing Evangelion theme song. I don't know, and I was hoping it wasn't distracting.
Oh no, if there's sound effects and things like that, it's perfectly fine. We get all sorts of randomness. I have a clock that goes off that makes music.
Okay.
I have 2 cats that I'm not sure. One's sleeping on the couch right now, and we are a house of nerds. Both our cats are named after anime characters. So,
what are their names?
We have Haru, who was named after the cat from My Roommate Is a Cat.
Okay.
And the boy who's sleeping behind me, big orange fluff ball, his name is Ainz after Overlord.
That's great. All right.
Nice.
And we have a 4-year-old daughter named Eevee, named after the Pokemon. And a 10-year-old named Winry, based off of Full Metal Alchemist.
Wow.
So yeah, we are a house of nerds.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great.
My wife and I got married dressed as Pokemon at a Comic-Con by a comic artist.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's great.
I know. I suppose. Well, no, it's actually funny. My husband actually proposed during an anime convention during a photo shoot where we're both dressed as different Final Fantasy video game characters.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And I just own quite a bit of merchandise. And that's all I got.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, I do feel, when you look back when I started working with Eric and Bang Zoom, compared to that time and now, anime is literally people's life, they people grew up watching it and it's part of their lives, and it means so much more than just, series on TV. So that's really great thing to kind of realize as I meet people and why they like anime and things like that.
Totally. I have one. Here's my figure that I have on my desk. You can see it. Oops, can you see that? Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
You know who that one is? Actually, going the wrong way. No. Anybody know?
It's familiar, but I can't put a name to it.
It's not a Pokemon.
Oh, that would be why I don't know anything. I don't know anything past Sun and Moon because I haven't been able to play the last couple of games.
I see. Well, maybe one of your viewers will figure it out, and then they can write in later, and they can win something. I don't know what they win, but
I could probably get a prize pack going out to somebody. If you know what that Pokemon is.
It's not a Pokemon.
Oh, it's not a Pokemon. If you know who this character is.
No, it's one of those. It
almost looks like a Digimon.
But it's not.
It looks like something I have seen, but I can't place it either.
It's got a tail on the back, just so you know. Oops. That's not a poop. It's a tail.
And this is one of those rare times I don't have a figure in front of the camera for people to look at instead of seeing me. I do have all the figures up on the shelves in the background, way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our offices look like that too.
You see,
Yeah.
I don't have figures. I have a giant bookcase that's actually filled with books.
What? Books?
Oh, I've got a manga shelf beside me too, but
books include graphic novels and gaming books and this monstrosity.
Death Note.
Nice.
And then I have, courtesy of one of our sponsors, that new game which I was talked about earlier. This is a officially licensed art book, all Japanese. I can't read a single link of what it says, but it's really, really cool, and it's a series I absolutely love.
Beautiful.
And it's a book I plan on bringing around to a few conventions this year because I know some of the voice actors of the shows are going to be at some of the cons, and I just think that would be a really neat thing to have them sign.
Absolutely.
Great.
And when I moved last year, I packed all my Blu-rays in a box and have never taken them out. There's probably about 100 or so.
Wow.
Are they manga or DVDs, Blu-rays?
They're all Blu-ray DVDs. For example, there's one.
Nice.
And then I'd say I ended up buying one. Since Yen Press licensed DXD, I did end up buying the light novel. That's volume 1. I had credit in one of my local anime shops, so I'm like, why not?
Yeah, why not? I could show you boxes that look similar. I have just full of boxes from a couple of years ago, and just haven't taken them out yet.
Yep.
What's that?
That's food. That's a Food Wars box set.
The limited edition ones. I need to go ahead and get the 4th one, but I've been waiting. I got them at
like rock bottom prices. So
Ah,
I mean, paying $70 for a set that's normally valued at about 180 something was pretty good, I think.
that's a great deal.
Because I think I got seasons 1 and 2 at Anime-Zing one year, and then season 3 I pre-ordered from Right Stuff and got like $50, $60 off.
That's great deals, great shopping deals.
Yes.
Mami, do you collect any anime figures or memorabilia?
If you ever visit our office,
Your office is
people
famous.
think it's a gift shop, but it's my personal office. But I'm a more plushy kind of person. So I don't collect the figures, but I have a lot of plushies.
I wonder if I don't know if I have anything else.
In the comments, Julily kind of agrees with that and says that,
Yeah.
that a bunch of plushies and Build-A-Bears.
Build-A-Bear.
Yes.
Either of you recognize this one right here?
Oh.
Let me get a better picture of her.
Very
That
cute.
looks like. Well, I don't want to say it's probably wrong.
Go ahead.
No, I don't know.
Did y'all watch the Gashi Kashi?
I have
No.
Okay, that's Hotaru. It was the one where it was a young boy that ran basically a snack shop in Japan with his grandpa, and this girl is the daughter of a wealthy or successful candy franchise and wants to basically buy them out, but she won't. But they refuse to sell. So she basically comes up and they talk candy, various different things every time she's there, and it just becomes a habit of her visiting them.
That's fun.
Yeah, sounds
It's
great.
like there's every single topic there's an anime series about.
There's no bowling anime though. I need a bowling anime.
There's
A
no-
bowling anime, what?
Are you sure?
I'm sure there will be. I mean, we
Yeah.
got badminton for crying out loud.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's no bowling. There's like everything. Wait, actually, when you think about it though, is there a football? I mean, American football anime? I don't think so.
Yes. I should know this from watching Gigux videos. Help me here, Doug. Do you remember what it is?
I don't know what it is. I also know that there's no disc golf anime yet.
Oh, they did do a golf anime though here recently.
They did do a golf.
Eye Shield 21. That's the football one.
Eye Shield 21.
Yes.
Is it good?
I don't know. I ain't seen it.
Oh God.
Well, I'm glad there's room to grow in anime.
Yeah,
But
there's always-
still.
I mean, it really is. Anime really is. No matter what you want to find, if you look hard enough, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go deep diving into Crunchy or Funimation, but it's there.
Or archives that can't be mentioned.
Yep.
In other words, shows that never got a English license in the first place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good ones that do surprise me that haven't been brought over. That's true.
I was really waiting for. Well, there's several dubs. I was waiting to see how they would do, but I was glad to hear that Sentai Filmworks managed to acquire a couple of the ones I was interested in. To Love Ru was one of them originally, and then I think they also have the rights to Kiss X Sis and Setokai Yakuindamo.
I wish they would finished dubbing Familiar Zero, they only dubbed the first season, and there's 4 seasons of it, and that's a fantastic series.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I think if fans will keep voicing about it, they'll hopefully they'll bring back and
And send them through Bang Zoom to do the dubbing.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
We'll try to talk them into going to you, Eric, so you guys can put your seal of approval on these titles.
And it's
I
and
saw-
this is and
Go ahead,
this
Angela.
is how much things have changed over the past 20, 30 years. I mean, I remember getting introduced to anime as a whole when you really couldn't find a whole hell of a lot dubbed. It was mostly fan subs, and even that was rare.
Come on, you're not that old. You can't remember that. Okay. I don't know how you could remember those. Like, I know the guys that started Toonami, on Cartoon Network. They were the guys that they would go down and rent a VHS of Dragon Ball Z
My first
subtitled.
one of my first instances with anime was my best friend in high school brought over a VHS tape, and we had it set up in the basement. And of course, my then 4-year-old sister decides to wander in during the gratuitous boob shot, and this friend worked at at a Suncoast and would just import everything she liked, and then use her employee discount to pay for it all.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's good to have those connections.
God, looking back on some of that now. And then then in college, the bright idea to watch Serial Experiments Lane during a final exam week.
Wait, you're saying watching anime during final exam week? Is that what you just
A very trippy psychological thriller that about existence during final exam week when we weren't studying.
You're not supposed to watch anime when you're studying for final exams.
It was more of a that was just bad timing, bad. But one of my favorite of the older anime to this day.
Yeah, I think everybody must have the anime that originally got them into anime, right?
Mm-hmm. Mine, unfortunately, wasn't until 2011, 2012. I grew up, I'm not going to lie, because of my upbringing, I was kind of a PBS kid until like late elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really get into, I was into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff in middle school, but I didn't really get introduced to anime till high school. My first actual anime series that caught my attention was at my friend's 14th or 15th birthday party. We were up pretty much all night, and one of the shows they had streaming was Chrome Shelled Regios, which was released back in 2008. I want to say 2009, somewhere in that time frame. And that's what started my whole kick. I would watch shows with him on Netflix there for a little while, and then eventually started delving off into my own. He would recommend shows, I'd watch them, then I started finding my own shows, and then eventually I think it was To Love Ru that got me into sub, and then after I went sub, I've just never gone back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a purist.
I watch both sub and dub for multiple reasons. You know, it's always fun to watch it in Japanese, get a feeling for the voice acting, how they bring the characters to life, and it's neat to see the difference in culture with the Japanese voice acting. Where pre-COVID they would bring in, if there were 5 people talking in a scene, all 5 people would be in the booth at the same time to
Right.
record the parts. Where in the US, it's one at a time, and you put them together.
That's right.
And my brain just broke. I forgot what to say.
No, and the sharing effectively favorite older animes and just back in the day how they got introduced to different stuff, and yay.
Yeah.
Now, we've only got about 10 minutes left on the show here, but we wanted to give you a chance to promote anything that you're currently working on, anywhere where people can find you, social media, if they want to reach out to you. We call it our shameless plugging section, and the floor is yours.
I don't think we necessarily have anything to plug. I mean, for us, this is just really nice to be here and chat with you about what we do. We have some voice acting workshops that are done at the studio with Tony Oliver, and we can recommend those highly. A lot of great talent comes through there. Also, Tony is doing these kind of incubator programs to help people get into anime writing, meaning the actual scripts, the dubbing scripts, which take a while to learn how to do correctly. So if people are interested in writing and like to write dialogue and want to do that, they can look into that, and they can go to the website adventuresinvoiceacting.com. So I guess that is a plug right there, but it's a low key plug, no pressure.
And Mama, do you have anything you're working on that you'd like people to check out?
Yeah, we have several simul dub happening at this time. So Demon Slayer is one of them, season 2 Entertainment District arc, and then we have Orient, which is a Crunchyroll title. But yeah, other than that, we're working on lots, and I think it's gonna come out soon. So if you can keep following our Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, that'd be great. And yeah, personally, Eric and I will be at the WonderCon in Anaheim, California this weekend. I think this Saturday. To do a panel with a voice actor. So yeah, if you are around, please stop by.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And we want to let all our fans out there know that this Sunday is our 8-year anniversary show. We are excited to announce that we do have 2 amazing voice actors that are going to be joining us. Anthony Bowling is going to be coming on for some of the show. Lindsay Shepard is going to be joining us for the full 2 hours. So we are excited to welcome them on the show. April 10th, we have Puchicon is going to be joining us. We have a spokesman for them, a convention out in the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, which we are a proud sponsor of. We've taken a big step this year in sponsoring a couple of conventions. Excited to be partnered with Puchicon. On April 17th, we have Devira Kai from Big Bucks Entertainment. If you're a fan of not video games, but game shows, and if you have attended some New England area conventions, they have put on game shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Press Your Luck. They are celebrating their 10-year anniversary this year, and we are excited to bring Devira on the show to come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun, the events he puts on. I've been to a couple of them, and definitely don't want to miss these shows. Great stuff coming up. Of course, once again, a big thank you, Mami and Eric, for joining us tonight. It is such an honor to have you joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
It's been really fun, and yeah, thanks a lot. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed seeing you again, and I wish you all the best on Sunday. Congratulations for 8 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. It's definitely been a wild ride, and we've seen a lot of changes throughout these 8 years, different co-hosts and stuff like that. And I couldn't be happier to have the team I have with me now with Angela and Darren.
Yeah. You guys are great and fun. And I like the fact that you represent different areas.
Yeah.
We represent different, granted, we're all kind of East Coast, but at the same time, we also, not only do we represent different areas, but we also have different, like, Darren and I have very similar tastes when it comes to our animes that we enjoy watching. Angela is just completely, like, off the wall opposite of us.
Yep.
Very rarely do we have a season where we're watching more than one show with her.
I was going to say this season, I think it's 1.
Yes.
And it just finished.
And it's got best girl. Like I already came out on record on the show to say Marin is best girl of 2022. I don't know if anybody.
I am reserving judgment, but one of my newer favorites is getting is season 2 is coming out at the end of the year. So
if you haven't seen My Dress Up Darling, definitely check that out, because that's the only show the three of us could agree on that we were watching at the same time.
Well, my son would be in agreement with you if he were here right now.
Is that a title that you guys worked on as well, or?
No.
Yeah, but yeah, my son he doesn't care if we work on it or not, and in fact, he loves to taunt me with it, like, you guys couldn't get this one, huh?
Well, there were several other shows I saw in your lineup that I was kind of surprised to see. God Eater was one of them. And Tonikawa. And Shinmai Mount No Testament.
And I'm sure the one that I'm sure one of the ones you guys brought up earlier was Sword Art Online, which I'm in the minority, but I absolutely love it.
Great.
I have to say, I liked it too. Aliciazation was the best arc, period.
I can get on board with that. I also
Aliciazation, War of the Underworld. The latter parts of Sword Art Online was better than the first parts.
Gun Gale was good.
Okay.
There was ultimately only one story arc I didn't like, but it got better.
There was one story arc I didn't like that I haven't even gone back, and that was in season 1. When it went from a cool video game anime to a love story, I'm like, okay, I was expecting something different. You lost me with this Kirito Asuna stuff. I'm done.
Skip that arc and jump to Gun Gale.
Because
Gun Gale goes back to video games.
Wait, am I in the minority here? Because like the love stories always hook me.
I enjoy my love stories.
For romance too.
I mean, my love story was one that I enjoyed. Snow White with the red hair, the love story, and that was really good. My Dress Up Darling had flip the table moments where it's like you just kiss her and something happens and you just want to be like, those type of moments.
I'm in the minority for one of my favorite romances. Several people have brought up that this show shouldn't even exist, but Mysterious Girlfriend X.
Didn't watch
Urabe is bae. I don't care what anyone says.
See, I don't know. I suppose really it just boils down to the romance stuff in and of itself is not necessarily my jam. When it's part of something else, awesome, great. Let everybody be happy.
Remind me, was it you? No, it was Leanne that watched Tori Mia, because that was probably one of my favorite romances of all time.
And Leanne's my wife. She also watches a lot of the shows and stuff. She's got different taste in anime than I do. We watch some stuff together, but a lot of stuff we watch separately.
and yet your marriage is still a success. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Now,
all because Barry Bostwick photobombed their wedding. He takes credit for that because I asked him himself.
every season, at this point, every season we go through and we put together a watch list, and then inevitably there's one or two that just we end up not finishing.
Yeah. It's understandable.
Because either it got boring, it wasn't what we wanted, or life, the universe, everything.
That happens.
But the clock's going off, which is signaling to me that we are out of time. But once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We've had a wonderful time here on a special Tuesday night show. A big thank you to Mami Okada and Eric Sherman from Bang Zoom. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again. It was great being here.
Of course, a big thank you to my co-hosts, Angela Rose and Aaron Starling.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye,
Thank you.
See everybody next time.
Until Sunday night for our
Bye.
8-year anniversary, have a wonderful night.